Sometimes, life confronts you with the harshest blows at the most unexpected moment. Person you trust the most, the one you open your heart to and share your life with, suddenly becomes a stranger, distancing themselves from you, causing everything to collapse. This change comes like a storm. It pulls you in slowly and insidiously without any warning. The devastating impact of betrayal squeezes your heart like a vice. And as you struggle with this pain, the questions that constantly whirl in your mind lead to sleepless nights. In the beginning, everything seemed so normal that not even a hint of suspicion crossed my mind. My wife, Ellie, success at work, professional relationship with her boss, Joel, was reinforced by years of working together. But this seemingly ordinary work relationship would gradually turn into a dark secret. The mysterious late-night work hours, sudden business trips, and Ellie's growing distance. All these events made it impossible for me to ignore the growing suspicions inside me. And that one message, that was the moment everything was turned upside down. The moment my life took an irreversible path. This story reveals the ruthless face of betrayal and the deep scars left by the pursuit of revenge, but the emptiness that follows. Perhaps that is the most painful lesson of all. Before I dive into my story, if you don't want your life to be turned upside down like mine, subscribe to my channel to learn real lessons from the real stories we share every day, just like mine. Also, share your thoughts about the shocking truth I've experienced in the comments. And please show your support by liking my video. Now that you've subscribed, let's dive into my story. It all really started innocently enough. My wife Ellie had been working at a marketing firm for years, and her boss Joel was a well-regarded figure in the industry. I never questioned their relationship at first. After all, it was normal for colleagues to form strong bonds, especially when they spent long hours working together. Joel's charm and prestige in the industry seemed to be a positive influence on Ellie's career. I didn't attribute much significance to their closeness, as this was just the nature of the business world. But as time passed, something started to change. Ellie began staying late at the office more frequently and even started taking sudden business trips that kept her away from home for longer periods. When she returned, she often seemed distant and preoccupied. I brought it up a few times, but she always had a plausible explanation. An important project, a demanding client. It's just work, Ellie would say, with that familiar exhaustion in her eyes. I loved her and wanted to trust her, so I chose to keep my suspicions to myself. One evening, Ellie came home later than usual. She looked tired and drained. There was something different about her. Late again? I asked, as I offered her a cup of coffee. She avoided my gaze. Yes, Joel and I had a long meeting, said. I noticed a tremor in her voice, but I didn't press her on it at the time. However, one evening, a close friend of mine who worked in the same industry sent me a message. The message mentioned that rumors were circulating about Ellie and Joel. I hate to tell you this, but there are some rumors going around that something might be happening between Ellie and Joel. At first, I was furious at the suggestion. That moment planted a seed of doubt in my mind. I began watching Ellie's behavior more closely, and soon the signs became clear. Secret phone calls, sudden needs to step out during dinner, constant texting. All of this deepened the suspicions growing inside me. Eventually, fate's cruel twist led to a day when I accidentally saw a message on Ellie's phone. It was from Joel, and it made it unmistakably clear that their relationship went far beyond a simple work friendship. The message read, "I'm looking forward to tonight again, Ellie. Every moment I spend with you makes me forget the rest of the world." My heart sank at that moment. That night, I confronted Ellie. "Ellie, how could you do this?" I asked, trying to suppress the anger in my voice. Ellie looked at me with tear-filled eyes. "You saw the message, didn't you?" she whispered. The guilt in her eyes gave everything away. "Yes," I said harshly. "You lied to me. How could you deceive me so easily?" Ellie closed her eyes and tears began to stream down her cheek. "Sean, I'm so sorry. It was a mistake. Something developed between Joel and me, but I never wanted to end our marriage. I still love you." Those words felt like knives stabbing into my heart. Ellie, those words mean nothing now. How could your love erase this betrayal? How can we go on? There was desperation and regret in Ellie's eyes. Please, give me another chance. I can make it right. I can fix everything. But at that moment, all trust I had in Ellie was shattered. No, Ellie, I said, my voice filled with cold resolve. This marriage ends here. Ellie, wiping away her tears, took a deep breath and looked at me with pleading eyes. Dawn, please. A moment of weakness, a mistake. It can't erase everything we've had together. We can't just throw away all we've built. Ellie's desperation made me pause for a moment, but then the determination in my eyes returned. Ellie, after this, nothing will ever be the same. Once trust is broken, it's nearly impossible to repair. After this final conversation, Ellie quietly packed her things and left the house. Her departure left a void in me, but I knew at that moment that I had made the right decision. Pain of betrayal deepened like a wound, but it also forced me to remain strong. The days that followed were a blur of emotions, each one more overwhelming than the last. I wandered through the house, unable to focus, haunted by the memories of happier time. Everywhere I turned, I saw reminders of Ellie, the scent of her perfume lingering in the bedroom, the half-read books on her bedside table, framed photos of us smiling together on vacations, now felt like distant dreams. One evening, I found myself staring at our wedding photo, my heart aching with the weight of what had been lost. How did we get here? I whispered to the empty room. The silence was deafening, a stark contrast to the life we once shared. As the days turned into weeks, my grief began to harden into something darker. Anger. I couldn't just let Joel walk away from this unscathed. He had not only betrayed my trust, but had also interfered in my marriage, shattering the life I had built with Ellie. It wasn't enough that my marriage was over. I needed him to pay for what he had done. I began to channel my anger into action. I spent hours researching company policies and local laws, determined to find a way to hold Joel accountable. The more I dug, the more I realized that Joel's actions had serious legal implications. His relationship with Ellie had violated several company policies, and I had grounds to sue him for emotional distress and interference with my marriage. Fueled by a sense of justice, or perhaps it was vengeance, I gathered all the evidence I could. I meticulously saved every text message, every email, and even reached out to Ellie's colleagues who were aware of the affair. Their testimonies painted a picture of a man who had used his position of power to manipulate and seduce my wife. With my case built, I filed a lawsuit against Joel. The news spread like wildfire, and soon the entire community knew about the scandal. Joel, once a respected figure in the industry, found himself at the center of a storm. People took sides. Some blamed Joel for abusing his power, while others criticized Ellie for her infidelity. The public exposure was devastating for Ellie. She became the subject of gossip and judgment, her reputation in tatters. Shortly after the news broke, she moved out of our home for good. I had thought that seeing her suffer would bring me some sense of satisfaction, but instead, I was left feeling emptier than ever. The revenge I had so desperately sought did nothing to heal the deep wounds left by her betrayal. The lawsuit eventually settled out of court, and while I received a substantial sum, it did little to mend the broken pieces of my life. My marriage was over, and no amount of money could change that. I was left alone with memories of a life that could never be reclaimed.